How do you evaluate the classification model? क्या metric देखते हैं? What metrics do we look at? So यहाँ पे देखते हैं confusion matrix. कौन सा matrix? Confusion matrix. बोलो यार, repeat करो. How do you evaluate regression model? In regression model, we look at F statistics, RMSE, and R square value. In classification, we evaluate using confusion matrix. What is confusion matrix? Confusion matrix is a 2x2 matrix. Okay, and it helps us to know what are true positive, false positive, false negative, and true negative. Okay, let me draw and explain. बात नहीं करना है क्या आप लोगों को? आप लोग बोलोगे तो I will not know whether you are able to hear me or not. Okay, so इसमें क्या करते हैं? We look at first, let's say these are predicted value, what our model predicted. Okay, and this is our actual value. So let's say actually model said positive. Okay, so this is positive, matlab yes. Model said yes, and it is also yes. Matlab correctly predicted. Model say actually it is no. Model also said no. So this is your N, no. This is also correctly predicted. Okay, so actually it is yes, and our model also says yes. Okay, so our model is correct. We call it as it is correct. Okay, so when you get your prediction correct, we call it as true. Okay, T for true. When we get it right. यहाँ पे our model is saying no, but actually it is yes. Our model is predicting wrong. Okay, our model is predicting wrong here. It is actually no, sorry. Actually it is yes, and we are predicting no. Prediction no, actually yes. So we got it wrong. So we say false. Okay, here also actually it is no, but we are predicting yes. So here also we got wrong. So this confusion matrix is a 2x2 matrix which tells us how many predictions we got right and how many we got wrong. So to get right, okay, ये है predicted values which our model is saying, and this is actual value. So this is positive, मतलब yes है और yes predict किया. So it is true, and since it is positive, we call it as positive. So this is your true positive. It is your true positive. Okay. Yeah, this is your true negative. Okay. Now this is your false negative. That means you're falsely saying it is negative. You're wrongly saying it is negative. False, positive. You are falsely saying positive. You are wrongly saying positive. Okay. So confusion matrix is a 2x2 matrix which talks about how many values we got right and how many we got wrong. So it talks about actual versus predicted. Okay, and you have positive, negative, positive, negative. The values which you correctly predict are true. So either true positive or true negative. This is also called as type 2 error. Agar exam pucha, what is type 2 error? Type 2 error means the error that we got, okay, while predicting classification problem, which are actually positive, but we predicted negative. That's called type 2 error. Actually positive मतलब कोई पेशेंट गया हॉस्पिटल, उसको सही में प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन डॉक्टर ने बोल दिया नहीं प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Actually, probably when you go to hospital, okay, or anybody when they go to hospital, they are expecting, they are suspecting some problem. अगर healthy हो तो नहीं जाओगे hospital. If you are not healthy, you'll go to hospital. So when you go to hospital, you want doctor to catch your problem. Okay, if doctor is not able to catch the problem, this is no. That is no, you're okay, go home. But you actually have a problem, positive or problem, and doctor says no. This is called type 2 problem, type 2 error. Here, sometimes you are okay, you're healthy, you're fine. Doctor says no, you have problem, you have to take this medication. That is called false positive. Okay, both are error, and this is called type 1 error. Type 1 error is also called as false positive. Type 2 error is called as false negative. Okay, type 2 error is false negative. Type 1 error is false positive. Okay, and there are various metric you can calculate. Most common metric is called accuracy. In accuracy, what we do is we add the number of true positive and number of true negative divided total value. So TP plus TN divided by TP plus TN plus FN plus FP is your accuracy. This is your accuracy. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is K nearest neighbor? What is the objective of K nearest neighbor? Explain. What are you doing in K nearest neighbor? So K nearest neighbor actually classifies the new data point by looking at the neighbors, nearest neighbor. Okay, we can give our own K value. Let's say we are giving K value as 5. Then it will look for 5 nearest neighbors. Okay, so based on its neighbor, it will classify. If maximum number of neighbors is positive, it will classify as positive. अगर 5 में से 3 या 4 या 5 is positive, it will say value is positive. Okay, if 3 or 4 or 5, if more than half is negative, it will classify as negative. So K nearest neighbor only looks at the neighboring data point, and based on the majority of the neighboring data points, it will classify as either positive or negative. So to find the nearest neighbor, right? So you have to find the distance, right? So distance same. Chapter 1 mein we have a topic finding the shortest distance. So we talk about shortest distance, and based on that, we are trying to predict, okay, which are the nearest neighbor to the given data set. Okay? What is naive bias? So in naive bias, we are trying to find the probability of outcome based on the characteristics. Okay, so let's say example, if the color, let's say we have fruits. Okay, so if it is a red color, red color, okay, so it is based on naive base. It's a conditional probability. Okay, so if the color of the fruit is red, okay, maybe 60% probability that it is apple, 40% probability that it's not apple, it may be cherry or something. Then you talk about shape. If shape is curve, probably for 40% probability that it is apple. So you're calculating the probability of the data set being, okay, a certain value based on the characteristics. Okay, so we are calculating probability. Okay, so when you define a particular fruit, okay, first you have to define the fruit. Okay, so mango is certain shape, certain color, certain size. Okay, so now when you, especially difficult question is, we have different types of mangoes. Mangoes may, we have different varieties of mango, isn't it? All are mangoes only, but some is, different types. Alfonso, Begnapalli, right? How do you classify whether it's a Alfonso or Begnapalli? So there are some characteristics which we know. If the size is this long, if that is this, okay, it is more likely to be a this variety, right? So we are looking at the data set, okay, with certain features, and based on the probability of those features, we classify the element. Nearest neighbor may, we look at the nearest neighbor. In naive Bayes may, we look at the proper, we compare the properties with the given data set. Okay. What is support vector machine? What is support vector machine? In support vector machine, we are trying to find a plane which will divide the data set by the largest possible distance. Distance is nothing but the width or the size of the plane. Okay, so we are finding the largest possible distance between two data sets. Okay, what is support vector? Support vectors are the point at the end points. So point from all the classifiers or all the groups, okay, which is taking part in the calculation of the plane. So plane actually touches these points. Okay, so point based on which the plane hangs, or point which is included in the plane calculation, those are called support vector. Yes, no, maybe. Hmm. Okay, what is decision tree? Tell something that you know.
Supervised learning technique, sir.
Yes, it is supervised learning, correct.
Mostly solving classification problems.
But what's the advantage, or how does it work?
With the roots and branches, it will show the multiple decision outputs.
Okay. Okay, so see the goal of decision tree. See, what is the goal of KNN is to find the nearest neighbor. Goal of naive Bayes is to find the probability of each of the parameters that we give. Goal of SPM is to find the largest distance between the two data set. Okay, the goal of decision tree is to find, okay, the group. Okay, the goal of decision tree is to find different decision groups based on the given data. right? So decision tree में you get about Gini index, information gain that we were talking about yesterday. Gini index, information gain, and entropy. Information gain is when you are dividing this data set, you need information, right? So information gain is nothing but the input that will help us to classify the data or group the data. Okay, the information based on which we'll do is called information gain. Okay, and the error, how well your model has done, okay, is or on what basis you'll group is entropy and your Gini index. Lower the value, more accurate is your grouping. Over the value of Gini index and entropy is more. So Gini index and entropy are the parameters of decision tree. Okay. So now you have the question paper which Rafe was sharing yesterday. Sahil?
Yes, sir.
You have the question paper जो कल राफे दिखाया था वो है क्या तुम्हारे पास questions?
Yes, sir.
So
Which chapter, sir?
let's do for second unit पहले. We will see if anything is pending, and then we
Sir,
will.
one more question is there.
Ah,
What
Hello?
are the some common measures? What are the some common measures used for evaluation and classification? Evaluation and classifiers.
ये तो सबसे पहला टॉपिक वही बोला ना मैंने, confusion metric.
Okay.
Okay, confusion metric. See, I'll open and show you. Evaluating the model. So false positive and false negative are the errors. Okay, and true positive and true negatives are correct. So this is your true negative and true positive. These are correct values and these are wrong values. So what are the different metrics? So metrics are accuracy, misclassification rate, okay, sensitivity, okay, specificity, precision. Most commonly is accuracy. Okay, accuracy तो भूलना ही नहीं है. उसके बाद you can talk about misclassification or sensitivity or specificity, precision, prevalence. Prevalence talks about actual positive by total. How many positive values are there? Okay, but your calculation के लिए accuracy, misclassification. Accuracy is TP plus TN, all the correct values by all the values is accuracy. Misclassification is your all the wrong things. Okay, so false positive and false negative by total. Sensitivity is total positive, like true positive by total yes. So true positive by true positive plus false positive. So you have the formula here. Okay, PPV. PPV is a factor, positive predictive value. Okay, then you have cumulative accuracy profile, CAP curve. कोई भी दो तीन याद रख लो बस. CAP curve is one more factor. Okay, these are the factors based on which you can accurately classify or find the. It's called model evaluation basically. How do you evaluate the model? Okay. Okay. PPV, accuracy, sensitivity, misclassification rate, specificity. These are some of the metrics that you will use to evaluate the model. Sahil?
Yes, sir.
खामोश क्यों जाते हो तुम लोग, कुछ बोलते नहीं हो?
No, sir, it's clear.
Yeah? Okay. Next question, please.
Sir, finish, sir.
हाँ ठीक है.
Second
Next, अभी जाओ chapter 3 पे जाते हैं अभी.
Okay.
भेज रहा हूँ सर.
Clustering.
Question पढ़ो.
Data people. Sir,
क्वेश्चन बोलो यार, मिल गया है क्या?
I have posted, sir.
ओके, okay, what is clustering? What is clustering? तुम लोग यार वीडियो पढ़ते देखते हो, क्लास में जो बोला वो नहीं सुनते हो, वीडियो नहीं देखते हो, तो कैसे होगा बताओ?
Sir, answer don't know, sir.
मैंने वीडियो शेयर किया था ना, क्लास का रिकॉर्डिंग, तूने देखा रिकॉर्डिंग? So see, clustering is dividing the data set into similar groups. Khatam. It is dividing the data set into similar groups. Okay. So data set in
Yes,
same
sir.
group are similar in nature than data points in different groups, in other groups. So dividing the data set, given data into similar groups based on its characteristics. और लिखना ऐड करना है तो based on its characteristics. Okay. Next क्या है? What is Euclidean distance? Again, chapter 1 में question answer ये. Types of distances. Okay. So see, Hamming distance, Euclidean distance, Manhattan distance, and Minkowski distance. What is Euclidean distance? This is Euclidean distance. So it is the square root of the sum of the square differences between two vectors. Okay, square root of the square. So suppose ये xy है, and you want to find the distance between this point and this point. इसका वैल्यू x पे मान लो 10, 20 है, और ये मान लो, सॉरी ये 10 नहीं, ये 40, 20 है मान लो. ओके, एंड दिस इज 10, 40 मान लो. So square of the differences, root of square of the differences, मतलब 10 minus 40 का square, 10 minus 40 is minus 30 square, minus 30 square plus 40 minus 20 square का square root. So 900 plus 400 is 1300. 1300 का square root. Okay, so answer will be 13 का है 9339, right? 4 का 16 हो जाएगा. So some 30 something, 35 or whatever, right? You can find it in Excel. Excel में SQRT of 1300. 36 is the distance between this. This is called Euclidean distance. ठीक है? Euclidean distance calculates distance between two real valued vectors. It is square root of the square sum of the square differences. Square root of the sum of the square differences. ये difference हो गया. Okay, इसका square हो गया, इसका sum हो गया, इसका root हो गया. This is your Euclidean distance. Yes, समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Types of clustering. What are types of clustering? So we discussed about
Hierarchical clustering,
correct,
partitioning methods, distribution clustering,
correct, centroid
fuzzy
में K means
clustering.
हो गया. Yes, centroid के हिसाब से, density के हिसाब से, distribution के हिसाब से, and hierarchy के हिसाब से. So there are 4 types of clustering: centroid based, density based, distribution based, and hierarchical based. K means is an example of centroid. Hierarchical में तुम्हारा वो agglomerative and divisive algorithm is part of your hierarchical. Okay, ये 4 type हो गया. Next question क्या है? Metrics used in finding accuracy of K mean. How to find the accuracy in K mean? The elbow method. Okay, distance measure करते हैं हम, average distance. Okay, book में है Silhouette coefficient. Okay, so Silhouette coefficient है book में. Silhouette का स्पेलिंग क्या होता है? SILHOUET. नहीं मिला. Silhouette plot. This is a way of finding the accuracy. Okay, so if the Silhouette index is between, see, minimum it will get is 0, maximum is 1. If the Silhouette score is between 0.7 to 1, we say stronger value. Okay, the clustering is very strong. If it is less than 0.25, that means there is no clustering. Okay, it is very bad. More than 0.7, very good. That is the strongest possible. Less than 0.25, bad. Between 0.25 and 0.7, we say weak. So again, weak, very weak, kuch bhi bolo, but mainly three classification: more than 0.75, less than 0.25, between 0.25 and 0.7. Okay. In fact, less than 0.5 is also called as weak only, very weak. But maybe there could be some relationship. Less than 0.25, no relationship. So this is one method of evaluating your clustering. K-means clustering based on the Silhouette plot. What is the centroid point? So centroid, okay, it is imaginary, okay. So you can say this imaginary point which represents the center of that cluster. Centroid represents the center of the cluster. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Centroid is the center of the cluster. It is
Yes.
imaginary point. Centroid point, है ना? The centroid point is the imaginary point which represents the center of the cluster. Explain K-means algorithm. Long answer. So you have to go and explain about K-means. ये तो हो जाएगा ना? Explanation. Okay. These 6 points you have to write. ठीक है? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
आप में क्लस्टरिंग चैप्टर का फर्स्ट पेज पे ही है. Okay, you explain these 6 points. Okay, so this whole paragraph अगर लिख दोगे तो that is good enough. Long answer है ना? So K-means clustering approach is a very popular variety of domains in biology. It often used to find structure in DNA-related data. Application हो गया basically, right? So K-means is often used to create market, customer, product segments. One of the first step to build K-means clustering algorithm is to define the number of cluster to work with. Subsequently, the algorithm assigns each individual data point to one of the clusters in random fashion. Okay, so ये तुम्हारा step है. ये explain कर दोगे? That is clustering. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Next question is Floyd's algorithm. What is Floyd's algorithm? Okay, so see, Floyd's algorithm as such, we don't have for clustering. Okay, so what we do here, we are trying to find the shortest possible distance. So whether you are doing K-means, okay, or any of these centroid-based algorithm, we need to find the shortest possible path. So Floyd's algorithm is about finding the shortest possible path between two given points. Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Next क्या है? Explain core aspects and types of clustering. Types of clustering, core aspects, वही 4 point है. Here you have to explain each of those 4 points. Centroid, density,